Good evening, Mikey and people of the internet. Let's rock and roll.
Heck yes. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, we are here to talk about Ring of Honor's first pay per view of 2026, Supercard of Honor. So, anybody who's not familiar with Ring of Honor, there's a lot of storied history, but this version of Ring of Honor is I don't want to say the rebrand, but like ROH 2.0, I guess is the best way of putting it. This is the Tony Khan era of Ring of Honor. And this is their first big show of the year. So we got a lot to talk about because we're covering almost 5 hours worth of wrestling, which includes 4 matches on the pre-show and then lots of matches on the main card. I'm like, damn, we got a lot.
There's one thing about Tony Khan, he definitely gives you your money's worth.
Yes. And for the most part, minus our tag titles, because as we would learn later in the show, visa issues are still plaguing us But hey, it is what it is. Every championship was on the line, including an AEW title, which we'll get into in a little bit. But once again, we are here to cover Supercard of Honor. And before we get into all of the action, to kind of go through everything, this little intro bit really quickly. If you are new here to BC WrestlePod, you could probably find us going live majority of the week, in which we have our regular rotation of AEW, NXT, CMLL, and TNA. And then sprinkled in, we cover pay per views, international brands, independent promotions, and whatever else we could think of. Because, in the words of Katya and Trixie Mattel, this is our show and not yours. And welcome to BC WrestlePod's. Sorry. Anywho, uh, if you're looking for something a little bit more self-contained, you can probably find us on your favorite social media site at BC WrestlePod, where we have report cards, predictions, clips of these shows, as well as what each week looks like in the streaming world. We have some merchandise available at our store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com, and we have a little coffee bot that will be popping in about every 10 to 15 minutes in the chats on YouTube's and Twitch if you want to help donate to the cause, because we pay for a lot of pay-per-views. And in fact, it helps us pay for things like this upcoming weekend with Double or Nothing, in which we'll be doing a live watch along, which I'm excited. And thank God, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but I'm so happy I don't have to work on Monday, so I could stay up late and not have to worry about going to work because Memorial Day here in the States. So I'm excited. Me and Betty are going to have a good time with that. But let's talk about a tangentially related AEW/Tony Khan product, and let's talk about Supercard of Honor. Love this show, had a good time, but damn, Tony Khan, 5 hours was a lot. And I had, well, the fortune and the misfortune of getting through this whole show in one sitting. Damn, my cheeks were sore.
Same. I watched it live, and
Benny is a better soldier than I am because I watched it yesterday in one sitting. Well, technically, I watched it in the morning, and then I watched it again on Sunday. Um, I watched it on 2 times speed on Saturday, and then I watched it regularly on Sunday so I can make sure I didn't miss anything. And boy, I did those things out of order. That's okay though. So let's get into it. We're going to be covering briefly 0 Hour, and then we're also going to talk about the main card. Now, we are mostly going to focus on all the matches. We're not really going to talk about a lot of the backstage segments because they mostly set up things that happened on AEW Collision this past Saturday, which, I see Benny shaking his head over there. I'm like, I feel you. I feel you. But tune in tomorrow because we'll be talking about Dynamite and Collision. So we're going to focus on Ring of Honor stuff. All right, let's get into the 0 Hour, though, because there was some things that we need to talk about. Of course, first is foremost, the Spanish god, Sammy Guevara, is finally back on my television screen for some reason or another. I don't know why he keeps getting on and off television, but he is here taking on Action Andretti. I'm going to start. We're going to sandwich this. I had fun with this match. I think this was very spectacular. And I forgot how much I really do enjoy watching Sammy Guevara in the ring. And I also like Action Andretti. Now, my complaint about this is that this was a fun match. If anything, though, this is kind of inconsequential to the grander scheme of, well, ROH television, because I'm like, well, this was a fun match, but there's not going to be any follow up from this because, yeah. So I was like, fun, but inconsequential.
well, if you think about it in a way, Sammy parlayed this into a world title match. So there's that,
I guess I was just like, how did we get there? But okay.
I was like, sure, okay. But Sammy, I like this new character that he's been doing in our ROH for the last year or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that he's really seemed to have found himself as a character, which is nice. And he's always had a very punchable face, to be honest. So just ask Andrade. But I digress. Um, um, to be honest with you, I watched like the first like few minutes of this, and then I just like went and got a sandwich
Hey, you
because
know what?
like
That is
it was
okay.
gonna be a long night. You know?
It was, and again, some of the 0 hour matches fun but inconsequential to the grander scheme of things, and this was one of them. Sammy Guevara would win, and like you said, it it catapulted him to get a world title match against Darby Allin on the following night on Collision, which we'll save that for tomorrow because I was just like, can we get Sammy out of the ROH void? And like, I missed him on AEW television, but more on that tomorrow during our AEW post show. But we continue on with 0 hour because then we get into our second 0 hour match of the afternoon, night, depending on when you were watching it. It was a long one for sure. But right afterwards, Sammy cuts a promo and introduces Roosh, and Roosh basically wins a squash match in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I got like 2 points on this one, right? Because it's not it didn't last long, right? But like my point A is that we've been building to Roosh. There's been some sort of build or push for Roosh on AEW proper, right? The last couple of weeks. So what's Roosh doing here? And why did he get the world title shot? But I digress. Number two, if Roosh is here and Sammy's here, why couldn't we freebird the titles?
Like, I don't know. They pick and choose who could freebird these titles. I was just like, this tag team division for Ring of Honor since like, and I don't even want to say since last year, since like the year before that, like a year and a half ago, has just been, it's been rough. Like once the Von Erichs got those tag titles, I was just like, it's just all downhill from there.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Sammy and Dustin, right? The Sons of Texas or whatever it was. They had it for like a year. But I digress. I'm not going to go there.
That's for a different podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where our special will be like ROH. It's like one of those like pop culture ones. It's like this is your life, kind of like where in the world did they go wrong? Like whatever happened to Baby Jane? Like that kind of stuff is like whatever happened to the Ring of Honor tag team division?
Which is funny because like they've been on this show, they've been building stuff, but like we don't have the tag titles.
So, which is crazy. Okay, let's just talk about this now because I don't have a picture in it and I don't want to forget talking about it. But yeah, we're building a really fun tag division, and we kind of solved that with Butsa in the Brain cutting an on the ramp promo, and then we get the return of the Kingdom for like the 4th time, which I'm never gonna complain because I do like me some Mike Bennett and I love me some Matt Taven. But I was just like, this is really cool. But these tag titles are not like here. We have Sammy who's holding one of them. Poor Beast Morthos is stuck with visa issues, so I don't blame him for it. But we're building up a fun tag team division, but these tag titles are not around to actually be in the mix. Like,
what are we doing?
Gosh,
vacate them and have a tournament. It's not that hard.
It's really not. And honestly, and we'll get into it with the certain group no longer holding trios and 6-man tags. Like, hey, you got. I'm just saying, Sean Dean, the captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo. Like, I'm like, let's do it. Anywho, Roosh wins. Let's move on. We'll get into that a little bit later. But right now, Janai! I love Janai. Janai Kai, the kick demon, is great. So this was a match that was scheduled, of course, like 30 minutes before, which I'm not mad at. So we got Mina Shirakawa, and finally back on my screen in some capacity, Miss Queen Aminata. taking on Lacey Lane and the Kick Demon herself, Janai Kai, in a very kind of quick impromptu match. Like I said, I love Janai. I want her to stay with Ring of Honor and for them to do something with her because I think Janai's presentation is unique and it's really cool. And like, I want to see her kick people's faces in.
100%. I think she's probably one of the most unique characters on the U.S. indie scene right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she seems to know who she is at this point, you know. And like her growth over the past like year has been incredible. But I digress. Um, Apparently Avenado was only here because Harley's injured.
Which sucks.
Like, isn't it like the fourth time Harley's been injured in this like in this span of a year, right? Like,
You know what? I have to look it up because I want to say maybe, but I have to look it up.
because she had the nose thing, and then like she had another thing, and it's like,
I'm like, Harley, I love you,
do we
girl.
have does she have to learn on TV? Like, what the hell is this? But I digress. I'm sorry. I said that twice right now. So I really like the what do they call themselves? Lethal Demons or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Lacey Lane, Janai Kai. You know, for somebody who's they put together a really nice match. These two teams in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lacey Lane and Janai Kai like had some really great tag team double teams, and so did Amanana and Mina. This was really nice. This is what I would expect from the a women's tag team match. But I digress. Third time. We have to
keep that we're gonna keep that counter going. No, it's fun. Trust me, I say it a lot of the time too. Queen Aminata, Mina Shirakawa pick up the victory here. So we get into our final 0-hour match, which this one was so much fun. We have the Rascals in the form of, Desmond Xavier and Myron Reed taking on the Premier Athletes. This was fun. I love the Rascals. Well, wrestling in general. Like anytime they're on my screen, I'm like, "Hi guys, I'm happy you're on my screen because I know I'm gonna have some fun." This was a really fun match to kind of close out 0-hour, and honestly, I was just like, again, really fun tag teams. I just wish the tag titles were in the actual building. um, this was just fun. The Rascals doing, their impromptu tag team work, the Premier Athletes being the heels in this match and just doing things, this was just fun and having Story and Zach kind of running interference for their respective groups was really fun to watch too. I had a blast with this one, and I think this was probably my favorite 0-hour match.
Yeah, I really like Myron Reed and Desmond Xavier as a tag team. To be honest with you, but I do sort of like Wentz and Des a little bit better. They just have a little bit more chemistry as a tag team. That's just for me. But the Premier Athletes have to be, they have to get their flowers because these guys show up every single week and they get over and they have great matches and they make people look great. Like this match wouldn't have been as good if it was a throw together tag team like crew, if you will. Which will play out later on, but but Aria Dabari is like somebody that's been with ROH since like its inception in or the first ROH pay-per-view in 2022 under Tony Khan. Like at the time he was doing like the Trust Bust. You remember the Trust Busters?
Yep.
This, Slim J and stuff.
Oh my gosh, Slim J.
And the reason I know that is because I was there. That's before the start of 2022. But like I don't know. I just like I love Mark Sterling. He's always great. And Wentz doing the springboard over actually using a Cazadora from Stormy Daniel. Whoa, Stormy Denali.
Yeah, I was just like, that's a whole different that's a whole different subset.
Yeah.
It's really tough. Trust me. I've caught myself saying the whole thing and be like, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, right. It's too close. It's too close. Well, anyways, like the cutter that Wentz hit on Sterling, using the help from the big tall lady, was really nice.
It truly was. Again, I had fun with this match. The Rascals pick up the victory here. There are ROH tapings happening today, so that's gonna be fun. And a wrestling friendo on the internet let me know that at today's tapings, not necessarily a spoiler alert, but has me really excited whenever we get the match, though, is that the main event of these tapings today is going to see AR Fox and Dez mix it up for the TV title. I'm like, ah!
Oh, that had Pro Wrestling Revolver written all over it. And
I was just like, yes, I was just like, oh, whenever we get that match on ROH TV, like on Honor Club, I'm here for it. I'm excited. But that takes care of 0 Hour. Now we get into the main course, because boy howdy, we got a lot of main card matches to talk about, and let's just kick things off. So we opened up the main card of Supercard of Honor with this Pure Rules match. This is, of course, Mr. Josh Alexander. Josh Woods. There's too many Joshes, because I was like, now Josh Alexander versus Josh Woods. That is a match I want to see.
Yes, very much so. Please.
Very much so.
Whenever he's healthy.
Yes. But we got Josh Woods versus Nigel McGuinness. This was just so much fun to watch in this Pure Rules match. Watching Josh and Nigel toy with each other and like cost them the rope breaks was hilarious. Then we got the commentary spot where Josh and Nigel were on commentary, and then our ref gets on like a third headset and tells them they need to get back in the ring, which was hilarious. But once we got past like the first couple, like 7 or 8 minutes of like them playing around with each other, then it got into the technicals. I was just like, lots of ankle grabs, lots of submission maneuvers. Josh nailing Nigel with forearm shots in the front and the back, and just Nigel also putting in that technical work. Oh my God, this was such a fun match to watch. And yeah, this was really fun. I really enjoyed this, and honestly, this was really smart way to open up the show. If I'm being honest, this was great.
Yeah, it was incredible. One thing I really liked is that in the past few weeks on Ring of Honor, leading up to this, Josh Woods, his matches, the pure matches he's been having, he's been making people use the rope breaks, and Nigel played Josh at his own game, and he smartly made him use all the rope breaks, but you didn't even notice it until like they were all gone. And Josh, poor Josh, man. This is somebody that like I'm just like, could you do something? Could you do something with him? Like I feel like I'm poking Tony with a stick. Like do something, do something. You know?
Hey, you know
like,
what? I would be okay with Josh Woods being the one to take the title off of Tiger Style, honestly. Like,
Yeah, me as
let
well.
Josh have a run with it with the pure championship. Like, why not?
And like Josh Woods looked rocked at the end. There was like a boot that Nigel came off the ropes with and caught him like right on the jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh was like all glassy eyed. And they were just like, we got to go. We
Bring it
so
home,
like,
kids. Bring it home.
yeah. And then Nigel hits one more jawbreaker lariat for the win, which I thought at the time was like, oh, okay, that's weird. But in hindsight, yeah, you got to go home. You got to go home.
That's very true. Ooh, hold up. I'm going to bring him in. So, new friendo, Miss Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast. This could be the start of something for Woods. Getting a high profile match for just Nigel has to mean something. And I do hope that's the case because Josh is another one that has been here for the rebrand since the beginning for ROH. And I would love to see him kind of get pushed into being some sort of singles champion, whether it's the television title or, like I said, the pure championship, I think would be up Josh's alley. So I really hope that we're going to start seeing something for him. And I'm going to be saying that a lot because I'm like, the pieces are there. I just need ROH Television Honor Club to start giving me small threads like we had in the first year where we got stories and stuff like that. Because I love the wrestling, man, and the wrestling's always going to be good. I just want like more tightened story threads. But here's hoping. Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm
But
not getting my
let's
hopes up for that.
I am going to remain cautiously optimistic because I want ROH to be fantastic and I want more people to watch it because the talent is there. But Nigel McGuinness picks up a win against Josh Woods. Very fun opening match for this one. And we continue to roll on through the main card as we get into match number 2, which is for the women's ROH Women's World TV Championship match. We have, of course, the challenger, Ms. Viva Van, who, God bless her, she is climbing up the ranks in terms of ROH. I was like, I love her style of wrestling, and I just love her in general. Of course, she's wrestling all over the world too, and of course, student of the LA New Japan Dojo, which we love to see. And she's taking on the champion who is defending her title in straight from Yo Mama's Kitchen, Red Velvet. And yes, I was going to bring this up, Grainmaker Podcast, but yes, Red Velvet finally got a full Titantron with everything in the works, and I was just like, finally, this girl has worked hard in everything that she's done. And I was just like, thank you for giving her the Titantron. That was a good presentation of her. And I was like, thank God. That's what I need for some of these ROH folks. I'm like, just invest in the Titantron and give them some presentation. Like, damn. That is how one of your champions should be presented, with a fun little Titantron, which I loved. It was great. Now, as far as this match goes, this was really great. I really did like this. I'm going to be saying that a lot because, like, I have small critiques, but not a lot of critiques. This was really cool to watch Red kind of be able to do her thing, but this was really good showcasing for Viva Van too and what she can do too. I'm like, Viva's pulling out a lot of these power moves in this match, like being able to lift Red onto her shoulders, using her arms. I was just like, Viva is really not giving it to Red, and then Red having to counteract all that. I had fun with this match. I really, really did. And honestly, I think this was more so a good. I feel like let me put it this way. I didn't feel that Red was going to lose this championship match, but I also think that it also did its job because it really showcased Viva, and I hope that Ring of Honor put some stock into her because I think Viva Van is something really fun.
Yeah, me too. And if I could be wrong, but I think she's been signed to AEW for a while, and we just haven't seen her. But it happens a lot. You know, I really like what was it like a straight jacket, electric chair type, like one wing angel thing. Like,
Ooh.
oh, that was so cool. And she just kept going for it. And early in the match, Reddit hit like a wicked nice looking running leg lariat. And it's one of those things where like you don't see it as I don't see it as much as I'd like to. And it's a move that has a lot of impact, but it must be really awkward to do because nobody does it. So
Absolutely.
this one was really fun. Like I really enjoyed this one. I always like Red Velvet. She seems to be putting it all together. I just liked a little bit more definition, whether she's a face or a heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got for this one because I could gush for a while, but we need to move on.
I appreciate and respect that. Oh my goodness. Well, I do want to bring this in though. The Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast stated that this was one of his favorite matches on the show. And honestly, you can make an argument for that. There are a couple of matches I really enjoyed on the whole entire main card. This was definitely one of them. This was a good showcase from both. Red Velvet retains her championship. And again, we'll talk more detail about it tomorrow, but later in the show, she would call out Willow Nightingale for a TBS championship match. So I am excited. Alrighty, let's keep this going. Match number 3. Ooh! This Oh man, it was really fun to watch this. So again, even though the Thursday Honor Club episode was taped about a week and a half ago, we have our newly minted ROH Men's World TV champ, AR Fox, taking on the Blackheart, Lio Rush. And I knew on paper I was going to have a fun time with this, and a fun time I did. I still say that AR Fox is one of the few wrestlers that I'm continuously surprised with how innovative his offense can be. Like, I can't tell you the official terms, but like when AR was in the corner and he was going up and Lio Rush like pulled him down and knocked him off where I thought he was going to do like a nut shot onto like the post, he ended up like bouncing off the ropes and then getting Leo into like a lay down, sit down, like cutter of some sort. I was like, what? I was like, how is it? I'm just really happy to see AR Fox finally get his dues. I know here at BC WrestlePod for a long time we've had the running joke like since All In like 2 years ago because AR wasn't able to travel abroad. I feel like he was in the doghouse for a little bit, but I'm really happy that AR is finally getting his dues because he is freaking fantastic. And this match really showcased why he's very innovative and why he's television champ. And again, Blackheart Lio Rush, I think, is such an interesting character, and I really love what we've been doing. And it's bleeding into ROH and AEW and everywhere he goes now. So I really dig it. This was fantastic. But Benny, what did you think of our match between AR and Blackheart Lio Rush?
Yeah, I actually wrote down that spot as well because I was like, what was that? Because like he hit 2 cutters, like one was blocked, and then like he bounced off the ropes again, and then hit another ace cutter, you know. And I really like the story that they're telling with Lio Rush and Action Andretti. Because there was no payoff between crew breaking up and Action just coming back. Like I know, like they've been doing backstage segments with like him just being like calling him or whatever. So this is pretty interesting. I like it, and it's sort of a heel versus heel match, and I'm here for it. Action Andretti getting involved right before the final hour frog splash was pretty cool. And then, as you said, like once I like really once I saw like the graphic for this on the go home for the show,
Hmm.
when AR Fox won the title, and then like the video popped up with Leo, I was like, oh my god, this match is going to be so innovative, and it did not let me down. And
No.
I'm so glad that the black card is here because it seems to be Leo Rush in his fullest form.
Oh, I love the Blackheart character for Leo Rush. I've always loved his unique offense in general, but this Blackheart and the presentation of it has been really fun. And these are just two people who are very innovative in their offense. And so this was a fun match. This was one of my personal like top 3 matches of the night, which is really hard because I thoroughly have something really fun and enjoyable to say about a lot of matches, but this definitely was probably in my top 3 in no particular order. AR
Same.
Fox retains the championship. It seems that we might be doing something with Leo and Action Andretti. And you know what? We getting the payoff of the crew breaking up, which I'm okay, which I'm excited to see, whatever fallout we get from it. So that should be really fantastic. And again, we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but we got to see a little bit of that during Collision. But stay tuned tomorrow for that show. Alrighty, let's keep this going because we go from our men's world TV championship match to our women's pure championship match. This, of course, is the challenger, Miss Diamante. Of course, part of the minion squad of Athena and Billy Starks. And she is taking on the champion and Miss Diana Perazzo, the virtuosa, if you will. And I will say this. I know I love Deanna down, right? And I think she's fantastic. I know Deanna's style of wrestling isn't for everyone. And I know people have critiques about her kind of wrestling style. And they've had a little bit of questions about her being the women's pure champion. Um, I will say this. I think this match, and again, I've always been a big supporter of Deanna. I think this match is probably, as far as like pure matches have gone since Deanna has won this title since Final Battle, I think this is probably her best pure match since becoming champion back at Final Battle. I'm gonna be honest. Um, I really like this match because I think Deanna did great. But honestly, for me, this definitely was different side of Diamante that I really enjoyed watching too. It was fun watching Diamante take advantage of the warnings like with the open like the closed fist and stuff like that, but also her just being more brutal when it comes to her style too. And like leading into that pure I'm gonna break your arms like submissions with the Fujiwara armbar and other means. Like, I thought this was a hard hitting fight for as hard hitting as this match could have went. Um, I really liked this one. I really did. Benny, how did you feel about the women's pure championship?
This is probably one of my favorite matches of the night, to be honest
Hell
with you.
yeah.
Because I've been a huge fan of Diamante since she was in LAX with Santana Ortiz. Um, and this is probably the best match I've seen of that they've let her have on television for a very long time. And she's a badass, man. And Deanna, I will agree. She's not always my cup of tea. She's not always my cup of tea. Um, I, I'm not going to get into it. We don't get the time. But um, I really like the story going into this. Once again, um, that Deanna has not uh, used a rope break since she won the title. She's been making other people use up all of their rope breaks, and then like Lee Moriarty, um, just snapping on the Venus de Milo and making him quit.
Hmm.
I I love the final sequence where like Diamante is like firing up, and she just like flips her off, and you see just like a switch flip on it, and she's like, "All right, out of here."
Ah, uh-oh, I think Benny froze. No! Oh, there you are. Come back to me, my
Never,
friend.
it's always
Come
something.
back to me. There we go. There we go. We're back. Okay, we're good. Thanks, Grainmaker. Thank you for stopping in for a little bit. But no, I 100% agree with you, Benny. This was a really fun match for both women. Deanna retains her women's pure championship. Now, let's get into the other half of that because now we move straight into our men's pure championship. Tiger Style and Lee Moriarty taking on Ace Austin. Now, love Lee Moriarty, love Ace Austin. I think this was a decent match. I do feel that there were a couple of sequences that kind of felt off to me a little bit. Ace Austin is not necessarily known as a technical wrestler himself. I will say though, I think what worked to the advantage of this is what worked in the advantage of this is I feel that because Ace Austin has been getting more innovative with his offense, which I think he's unique. I think it definitely brought some uniqueness to this match. However, um, I didn't hate this match, though. I will say I wish I got a little bit more, but I still thought this is pretty decent. Benny, what did you think? Am I off base? Do you agree, disagree? Like, how did you feel about this one?
No, I sort of felt the same way. I thought it was a decent match. I didn't think it was as good as everybody said it was. Um, at least that what I've read on the internet. But I love Lee Moriarty. His run with the pure title is probably like been my favorite thing on Ring of Honor for a long time. Since like, Mim is dead in the water. But I digress. Um, I really liked that there was a lot of winks and nods at different people from ROH history throughout the night. Like Josh Woods had used a couple of moves from his old tag partner Silas Young in their match, in his match, and in this match we got a phenomenal forearm uh, from former ROH Pure Champion AJ Styles. And then Moriarty clearly had a game plan going into this and used up all Ace's, once again, used up all the rope breaks. This was sort of like we had 3 pure matches on this card, and pretty much all of them were like the same story, but they were all different, which is great. This is just goes to show you how you can manipulate the rules of the pure title, right? And uh, Lee Moriarty using the leverage on the European clutch was really nice.
Yeah, again, I didn't think this was bad. This was a bad match, but I felt like we could have gotten a little more, especially because of how long Lee Moriarty has had this championship and all the people he has faced to keep it. So here's hoping that his next opponent will be someone that will give him a good challenge and to give work over. But Lee Moriarty beats Ace Austin, decent match, didn't hate it, and we keep this thing rolling. Now, this next match we're going to talk about doesn't have an official graphic because the match was made during the show earlier. But y'all know how to get the picture, and this is going to be a spoiler alert, so I'm just going to let this image sit. And I can't speak for Betty, but
Spin to win, baby. Spin to win.
Finally. Listen, our lovable, like our lovable cousins and their gay uncle, like let's just call it our gay uncles. They finally did it. Tony Khan decided to pull the trigger. We had a 6-man tag team championship match between STP, the champs, and the challengers answering the opening challenge of Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. And fast forwarding to the end, Dalton Castle and the Outrunners are the new ROH World 6-man tag team champions. And I'm like, finally. I was so happy.
Man. You know, earlier we were talking about how many times the ROH tag team titles have been held up, right? Am I here?
You are here. Sorry, I was nodding. I was like, yes.
Sorry. So the Outrunners and the Infantry finally had a match for the belts. It might have taken us 2 or 3 years to get here, but we finally made it, guys. We finally made it. You know, to be honest with you, this was my match of the night. Like, because it's Dalton Castle and the Outrunners and STP. So I'm like, you can't play with my heartstrings like this, you know? Because I was like, you know what? Like halfway through, I was like, you know what? I don't care who wins. But like because of the match structure, I was like, I care who wins. You know, like
no, same. It's just like, listen, I agree. We finally got here, but Tony Khan, I swear to God, if you continue to tease me and not put titles on Dalton and the Outrunners, we're gonna fight.
And then like finally, like when Dalton hit the bangarang on Shane Taylor, and then like they've been doing this like it's the bangarang first, and then the son of a bitch elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Like they sort of reversed it the past couple weeks, which I think it works a little bit better.
Yeah, right? I agree.
And as the Outrunners are doing the son of a bitch elbow, like Dalton Castle drops down with like an axe handle, but Shane Taylor's facing the wrong way. So it just looks like he just axe handled him in the dick and got the win.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. This was silliness and old school wrestling at the same time. I love every single bit of it, you know.
Tony Khan, like I know we talk a lot and how we want certain things for some of our favorite wrestlers, but you did your one with this one for this show. I was just like, thank you for finally giving us Dalton Castle and the Outrunners as champions, and I look forward to it's gonna be great. Now after the match,
the rest
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no lie, the rest of the card was sort of a slog for me to get through because, like, I had been spent after that. After
we peaked, like us personally as fans, we peaked with this moment, and then it was a long show. Still good stuff to talk about, but it was a long one. It was still a long way down from here. So after the match, STP attack our new champs, and Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe come in for the save, which sets up a collision match we'll talk about tomorrow evening. So we keep the show rolling ROH related with our next match, which is our first non-ROH championship for the AEW National Championship. Mark Davis versus CMLL's Shelhua. Again, another match where I thought was pretty solid. I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. It wasn't bad. It was decent. I enjoyed this. Definitely felt out of place though. Being like towards the tail end, I'm like, damn, this felt like we could have put it like towards the beginning of the show, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think this and the Red Velvet and the Man match should have been switched, but what do I
Oh my
know?
gosh. Yes, I actually would agree with you there.
But you know what? In all actuality, this was a great come down match. Like, because, as we just said, like, we peaked at the Outrunners. So, Mark Davis versus Showa sort of was sort of like a letdown match, which Tony Khan really needs to do a little bit more of. I love you, Tony, but we need to breathe as well. You know, like, but this was fun. It was certainly the weakest match on the show, but as I said, it was sort of a breather match, and I really like Showa's look. Very old school luchador style,
Mm. Oh, absolutely.
and like it almost looks like like El Santos, uh, you know, like but with the Mayan or Aztecian. Uh, I don't know.
Like
What
the
would you call it? Like,
iconography and the patterns, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's what I meant. Iconography. I just couldn't think of the word. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh my goodness. Again, felt definitely out of place, but I love watching Mark Davis, baby daddy number 2. But again, putting Mark Davis on television and letting him thrive as a singles champion, is great. And you know what? This was again, this I didn't hate this match, but definitely felt weird. But it definitely was a good come down match. Mark Davis retains the AEW National Championship, and all right, home stretch. We are now getting towards the end. So let's get into our final 2 matches of the night because I got things to say. First and foremost, in the semi-main event is your ROH World Championship match. This, of course, is the challenger, Mr. Vanilla Baby himself, Blake Christian, taking on the ROH World Champion in Bandito. Um, this match was great. Oh my god. They put on a hell of a clinic. Blake Christian, man, this is a standout performance for you. Bandito's always great, and I will always love Bandito, but Blake Christian, damn man, I loved you. You are always fantastic. You gave a run for Bandito. You gave Bandito a run for it. And my goodness, this was just oh my god, Bandito is just having great matches left and right. Holy crap, man. And Blake Christian, man, honestly, this was probably one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah, I'm a big Bandito Mark. I have been since like 2019. So like anytime he's in a match, like it's probably gonna be my match of the night. Um, I mean, like I just said that the Castle Runners were my match of the night. Yes, that one was, uh, but this match was still great. I'm not taking anything away from it. Blake Christian is a special dude. I'm surprised it didn't pay off here, to be
I
honest with
know.
you. Because the way everything was built, like it was like he's been chasing Bandito for a year, and like he even got that mentorship from Jay Lethal. I'm sure this isn't the last of we'll see of Blake Christian and Bandito, but I think they should have switched the belt here because it sort of like took the air out of the room when he didn't, because even when the bell rang, they were chanting "new champ," you know,
Mhm.
and like, but I digress. I really love the Styles Clash segment of this, and then like Bandito did like a variation on the 21 plex where like
Oh
he
my
like
gosh,
deadlifted
bro.
him into like a Northern Lights suplex.
Ooh, that was so beautiful.
I was like, Bandito, what are you doing? And then like by the end, like when he had finally hit the 21 plex, I had noticed something, and I hope
Mhm.
Bandito's okay. I hope Bandito's okay because it looked like he might have tweaked his hammy. Um,
Yeah, oof, I was worried about him too, especially well, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. So Bandito retains, and I was a little worried for what happened afterwards, and then also what this means going into this weekend. But
yeah.
Bandito retains the championship, and Swerve Strickland makes a surprise appearance in ROH, and he beats up on Bandito. And I know people don't want to call it the name that Swerve has made this move with the chair, but I'm gonna call it as what it is and what Swerve originally originated it. But Swerve hits a cop killer.
Oh,
Yes, he hits a cop killer on Bandito, and I was just like, good golly gosh. I was like, Bandito's dead. Oh my gosh.
talk about that's so great. Good job, man. Like that's another ROH reference, old school ROH reference. We got Homicide, we got AJ Styles, we got Samoa, all that stuff. I love it. I love me some references.
I do, and honestly, I'm like, it's okay to call it the name by originally it's supposed to, you guys. Like, we don't like. I'm gonna call it because that's what Swerve calls it, and so Swerve hits a cop killer on on Bandito, and Bandito is just like on the floor, and it's having some implications going into this weekend at Double or Nothing because Bandito and Swerve are gonna have a match for in the Owen, and that's gonna be interesting of how this carries over into that. But great semi-main event, a really fun post-match stuff. Swerve is also great. I love Swerve as well. Swerve and ROH for a little bit would kind of be fun, not gonna lie. Um,
It would
but
certainly
anywho,
elevate the brand.
oh, 100%. Alrighty, let's get into this. Now let's get into our main event, which I was at the beginning of the show. I was really happy when Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman told us that our survival of the fittest match would be main eventing the show, right? Then looking at how long this event was and factoring in some time zone differences, I'm like, these girls went on in the main event and it was like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. Holy shit. And they looked tired, they looked ready for a nap, and despite all that, this match was so much fun. We got all the spots in this match. We got tables, we got kendo sticks, we got lariats, hubmans, we got ladder spots. Like, these girls showed up and showed out. And I, am I am I happy that Athena retained? Kind of, because I love Athena. Do I wish one of the other 5 women in this match took the title off of her? Absolutely. But I do think that in this match particularly, I honestly think I don't want to say minus Billy, but minus Billy because she's been here for a little bit while, so she's not really newer, and she's always been around like the spotlight in terms of ROH, given of her stories with Athena. But I will say that this match definitely showcased this ROH women's division and its potential from the newest, brightest star, Miss Maya Worlds, being in here, like doing awesome things, to those who might not be familiar with Yuka Sakazaki or even Zeta Steel, who have been around for a little bit in the indies and the international scene and doing great. But honestly, my MVP for this match is I don't want to say Miss. Um, my MVP for this match is Trish Adora. They are, oh my God, the potential is there. And I need Tony Khan to put some stock into Trish because I think they have some incredible potential and incredible talent. And I feel like while this may not have been my favorite match of the entire night, I will say this is, and not to compare, but this is where I wish AEW's would take notes with their women's division, because we had more women's matches and women talent on this pay-per-view than we normally get on a weekly television episode or an AEW pay-per-view. I'm just saying. And this is how you showcase newer women's talent that have been here for a little bit in ROH, but other people may not be familiar with it. My God, I had fun with this one. Benny, how did you feel about the survival of the fittest match?
I have to agree. Like, Christy Dora was definitely the MVP, and considering that, like, I'm a huge Christy Dora fan. I have been for a very long time. Anybody who else is a big fan, go search out her match with Asha Kong from Ashe. Incredible. Yuka Sakazaki is just a lovable spirit, she usually wrestles for like TJPW in the Magical Sugar Rabbits tag team. Zeta Steel is somebody who, like, even before she got the WWE ID thing, like, was already on everybody's radar. Like, because she was in Stardom for a little while, and she was doing a lot of stuff in Beyond. But I digress. I really need. I'm sorry. I love Athena. Athena is one of my favorite wrestlers going. I need that belt off her. I need that belt off her really badly, because we're going into the third year with her as champion, going into the Owen, and it doesn't give me hope for the likelihood of Athena going far in the Owen. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, because Tony Khan has really like shattered my expectations when it comes to wrestling. So, and I love that, by the way. I love that. So, I trust the man. Like, I don't always have to like it. It's just the way wrestling works. Maya World is pretty goddamn great. She's gonna be She's gonna be something in a year or two. Right now, she's still super green. But I see a lot of the influence that in her movements that you can totally tell that she's been training with Athena.
Oh, most definitely.
And Billy, what else can I say about Billy? She's one of the best. She's a prodigy, and she's a prodigy. I feel like he has regressed in a year. But I think that she's somebody who can get back up to speed really quickly. This was not her best outing. I'll be honest.
No, I agree.
I'm sorry?
No, I just said I agree with you.
Oh, yeah. And all I was going to say was that this show was great overall. But as somebody who is, I wouldn't even say a casual fan of ROH at this time, I'm going to need something to latch on to come back for Death Before Dishonor. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. And I feel like, okay, let's get into it then. So Athena retains. I thought this was a fun match, though I will say, though, this was more of the showcase of the other five and not the best outing for our champion. And I am kind of hoping that that title eventually gets put on somebody else. Not because I don't like Athena, but I feel like we need to take the women's championship in a different direction and start giving, the other women in this division a shot at potentially becoming champion because Athena has had a chokehold on this championship and this division forever. And I kind of want to see some new, fresh things for it. And honestly, if they changed it, and again, with some tweaking and giving me some story threads and some, continuity between things, like between shows, I really would consider not every week, but like us having and talking about, hey, this is what happened on ROH this week. This is what you need to be looking for. But I don't know. Again, I will say this till the cows come home. So my final grade for this when I gave the report card, I said that this was a B plus pay-per-view in my personal opinion. And the reasoning that I gave is that I thought that all the matches, even the ones that I had issues with, I thought they ranged from decent to fantastic. And I don't think there was necessarily a match that was super horrible like I'm used to of other, promotions and other matches. However, my biggest critique that I said in my report card is two things. Number one, this is a long ass show, and I'm not complaining because we got a really good, solid card. But for me to watch a almost 5-hour show for the pay per view, but then we don't get this same type of, I don't want to say production, but like storytelling and things like that on the weeklies makes it really, really hard for me to want to tell people to watch ROH. And my other biggest critique that I had with this is that as much as I really enjoyed all these matches on the card, there was little to no story going into this. A lot of these matches were made like the week of or the day before Supercard of Honor. So I really want ROH. And I know I keep saying this and I always keep getting made fun of in a familial way, not like people actually picking me apart. So don't come after my friends, you guys. But I am cautiously optimistic. I want ROH to be what it was the first year of the rebrand, where we had storytelling and we had story threads and things like that. Wrestle again, and I say this until the cows come home. Good wrestling is fantastic, and excellent wrestling is fantastic. But I'm also here to be sports entertained. Give me some over the top telenovela stories in my wrestling, and ROH has that history of telling really fun stuff. Like again, the feud between Dalton Castle and Johnny TV was ridiculous, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because they took a chance with it and all the backstage vignettes and everything we have. Like that's all I want. I want ROH TV to have some semblance of like storytelling and some more amped up production. Like I love it. I truly do. But I need some stories because whenever we're getting, the next pay-per-view, which is Death Before Dishonor, we don't know when that's happening. We know that the next big thing for ROH is that Global Wars in June, which will be here to cover that. But I'm really hoping that Tony Khan starts putting in the work. I don't know. Sorry, I talked for a lot. That's my final thoughts on this. I apologize for going so long.
No, that wasn't about you. I was just thinking, because I really agree. I I need a reason to come back, and just seeing people that I like is not enough reason for me. I can see them on the indies as well, and the matches on the indies will probably be better.
Mm-hmm. I
There's
just
a,
want
I am,
stories.
I'm, I'm having there's a bigger issue that I'm having with AEW right now as a whole, but I can save that for tomorrow.
Okay. Fair enough, my friend. Fair enough. Well, that is our Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor post show. We kept it to about an hour and 10 or so minutes. Definitely we kept it a lot shorter than the actual time of this pay-per-view itself that we watched. But again, I don't want to dissuade people from watching ROH because there's some fantastic talent of Ring of Honor that don't necessarily appear on AEW, but they also appear in the independent scene as well. But Ring of Honor and Tony Khan, please get it together because I want the weekly TV shows to be just as fun as the pay-per-views. Then I would stop complaining. But here's to here. Anyhow, well, that's going to be it for us here tonight for Honor House. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a very fun week ahead of us. Tomorrow evening, Benny and I will be back at it at the helm, but this time we will be switching from Ring of Honor to its older brother in AEW. So we will be covering last week's AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision. And guys, this is our final show before Double or Nothing. So we will also be doing our predictions for the card that we have announced so far for Double or Nothing. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Then on Wednesday, we have NXT and CMLL. Friday, we have our TNA post show. Saturday and Sunday is going to be busy this Memorial Day weekend. Saturday, I will be hanging out with some friends to decimate and just to have a good, messy time. We will be doing a live watch along for Saturday night's main event for WWE, which is like, okay, it's whatever. But then we get to have some fun on Sunday. Benny and I will also be spending lots of time this week. At Sunday, we will be doing a live watch along for Double or Nothing. And honestly, I have issues with some of the matches, but I'm here to be entertained. In the words of Cresta Star, sometimes I'm here to be sports entertained. And some of these matches are sports entertained. But also, I need, hopefully, nothing is too crazy with what Okada has dealing with back at home in Japan. So, but here's hoping because I'm looking forward to that match. I think Darby and MJF's gonna be fun. This 7-on-7 Stadium Stampede match is going to be a key. It's just going to be crazy. I'm interested to see how we get away with certain things because, the New York Athletic Sports Commission doesn't like the bleeding. So we're going to see how that goes. But we got a fun week ahead of us. I got to get me and Benny up on out of here. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow with Benny to talk about AEW. But until then, from all of us here at BC WrestlePod to you at home, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and most importantly, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll see you tomorrow for AEW. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.